Seneca once said, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver." In relationships, the rarest and most valuable gift is a woman who chooses to be a great partner, not out of obligation, but because it's in her nature. If you find a woman who embodies these 7 traits, never let her go. She is the kind of partner who will bring you peace, strength, and fulfillment, not chaos, insecurity, or regret. Watch until the end, because the final trait is the one that separates a good relationship from a truly exceptional one. Like, subscribe, and comment if you've met a woman like this, or if you're still searching. Let's begin. Chapter 1. She shows gratitude and says thank you. A woman who expresses gratitude is a woman who understands the value of effort. She does not take things for granted, nor does she believe she is entitled to your time, energy, or devotion. Instead, she appreciates them. She sees what you do for her, she recognizes the thought behind your actions, and she acknowledges it, not because she has to, but because it is part of who she is. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you out of politeness. It's an attitude, a mindset, a reflection of her character. If a woman is truly grateful for what you bring into her life, you will feel it in everything she does. She will not expect you to cater to her without acknowledgement. She will not treat your kindness as something owed to her. Instead, she will make sure that you know, through both words and actions, that what you do matters to her. Does she thank you when you make an effort for her? Not just when you hold the door open or pay for dinner, but when you do something that takes real thought. If you go out of your way to help her, does she recognize it? If you surprise her with something small but meaningful, does she let you know how much it meant to her? If you support her during a difficult time, does she appreciate your presence, or does she treat it as an expectation? A woman who values you will never make you feel like your efforts go unnoticed. She will not just take, she will give. And the way she gives back will not always be financial or material. She may not buy you gifts or plan extravagant surprises, but she will show her gratitude in other ways, in kindness, in encouragement, in effort, in the way she speaks to you and treats you every single day. There is a deep psychological difference between a woman who is appreciative and a woman who is entitled. A grateful woman will make you feel like a king, not because she worships you, but because she values you. She understands that relationships require effort from both sides, and she wants you to know that your effort is seen and cherished. An entitled woman, on the other hand, will never acknowledge what you do for her. She will expect it. She will treat your kindness as an obligation, your generosity as something she deserves, and your sacrifices as something that should be given without question. And the most dangerous part? She won't even realize she's doing it. Entitlement creeps in slowly. At first, she may thank you. But over time, she begins to expect more while appreciating less. She stops noticing the little things, and suddenly, the thoughtful gestures that once made her smile become the bare minimum in her eyes. No matter how much you do, it's never enough. This is the kind of woman who will drain you. She will leave you feeling empty, unappreciated, and exhausted because you will always be giving while she is only receiving. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in a relationship. It is the difference between love that grows stronger and love that fades into resentment. A woman who appreciates you today will still appreciate you years from now. A woman who never does will eventually take everything you do for granted. This is why Stoic men value gratitude so highly. A Stoic man does not waste his time in relationships built on silent expectations. He does not give endlessly to someone who never acknowledges his effort. Instead, he seeks balance. He knows that a relationship must be built on mutual appreciation, not a one-sided dynamic where he is constantly proving his worth while she simply receives. If you find a woman who recognizes your efforts, who genuinely values the things you do, who makes you feel appreciated rather than obligated, never let her go. Chapter 2. She puts in equal effort. A woman's words can be deceiving, but her actions will always reveal the truth. If she truly wants to be with you, she won't just talk about it, she will prove it through effort. Love is not about one person constantly giving while the other takes. It's about balance, reciprocity, and mutual investment. A relationship where only one person is making an effort is not a relationship, it's emotional labor. So, look at the way she behaves. Does she engage in conversations, or does she leave you carrying the entire weight of communication? Does she show genuine curiosity about your life, your dreams, and your struggles? Or does she only talk about herself, expecting you to be an audience to her life while showing no interest in yours? A woman who is truly invested in you will want to know you, and not just as a romantic partner, but as a person. Effort isn't just about grand romantic gestures, it's about the little things that show she cares. Does she remember the small details you share? Does she recall your favorite coffee order, the story about your childhood, or the way you like your eggs in the morning? These may seem insignificant, but they are proof that she is paying attention, that she values you enough to remember the details that make you who you are. Does she make plans with you, or does she always wait for you to initiate everything? A woman who never takes the initiative to plan dates, suggest outings, or check in on you is showing you that she expects you to lead while she simply follows. This is not a partnership, it's a one-sided dynamic where you are constantly proving yourself while she sits back and enjoys the benefits. A woman who truly values you wants to be an active participant in the relationship. She won't expect you to carry all the emotional and logistical weight. But effort extends far beyond just making plans or sending the first message. Real effort is about showing up for you emotionally, mentally, and physically. It means supporting you during tough times, not just being present for the good moments. It means encouraging you when you're struggling, listening when you need to talk, and respecting your need for space when necessary. A woman who only wants to be around for the highs but disappears when things get difficult is not a woman who is truly invested in you. A high-value woman will want to match your energy. If you're giving her your time, attention, and affection, she will not only appreciate it, she will return it in full. She won't let you feel like you're the only one putting in work. She will make you feel like a priority, not an option. She will contribute to the relationship in a way that makes you feel seen, valued, and appreciated. This kind of woman understands that love is a two-way street. She recognizes that a relationship is not about one person doing all the giving while the other person passively receives. It is a partnership, two people building something together. If she loves and respects you, she will want to make you feel just as special as you make her feel. She will never let you feel alone in the relationship. Now, let's address the opposite. A woman who expects everything from you but gives nothing in return is not a partner, she's a burden. A woman like this is emotionally entitled, believing that you owe her constant attention, validation, and effort without her having to lift a finger in return. She will expect you to entertain her, provide for her, plan for her, and listen to her problems, yet when you need her, she's nowhere to be found. This is not love. This is not partnership. This is selfishness disguised as femininity. A woman who drains you rather than uplifts you is not a woman you should waste your time on. If she refuses to put in effort, if she makes you feel like you're chasing her while she barely acknowledges you, she is not worthy of you. But if you find a woman who reciprocates your effort, who makes you feel appreciated, who wants to invest in the relationship as much as you do, never let her go. Chapter 3. She has open and honest communication. No games. No manipulation. No mixed signals. A mature woman tells you exactly how she feels. She doesn't rely on passive-aggressive behavior, silent treatment, or cryptic hints to get her point across. She doesn't expect you to be a mind reader, and she doesn't test your patience just to see how much you'll chase her. Instead, she communicates clearly, directly, and with the intention of strengthening the relationship, not sabotaging it. When something is wrong, she doesn't shut down or punish you with silence. She doesn't bottle up resentment and let it explode later over something insignificant. Instead, she talks about it. She explains her feelings, shares her perspective, and listens to yours. She understands that a relationship cannot thrive without open dialogue, so she doesn't avoid difficult conversations, she embraces them as a way to build a deeper connection. If she has a problem, she doesn't assume you should just know what's wrong. She tells you. She doesn't play mind games, drop hints, or expect you to decode her emotions like a puzzle. She understands that clarity is key, and she respects you enough to express what she needs instead of testing your ability to guess. A woman like this removes all unnecessary confusion from a relationship. She doesn't keep you on edge, wondering where you stand. And when she loves you, she doesn't just assume you know, she shows you. She doesn't hold back affection out of fear or pride. She makes it clear that she values you, respects you, and wants you in her life. This kind of emotional honesty is what separates a high-value woman from someone who is still emotionally immature. Unfortunately, many men find themselves in relationships where they are constantly second-guessing everything. They walk on eggshells, afraid to say or do the wrong thing because they never truly know where they stand. They spend their time trying to decode messages, reading between the lines, and figuring out whether their woman is genuinely upset or just testing them. This is exhausting, frustrating, and ultimately a waste of time. A woman who values honest communication eliminates all of that unnecessary drama. She doesn't argue just to prove a point or to win a battle. She doesn't create problems for the sake of emotional highs and lows. She doesn't use confusion as a weapon to control you. Instead, she speaks with clarity, honesty, and directness because she respects you and she respects the relationship. And let's be clear, open communication is not just about talking, it's about listening. A woman who is truly mature doesn't just expect you to hear her, she also values hearing you. She doesn't shut you down when you express your emotions. She doesn't dismiss your feelings, mock your vulnerability, or turn things around to make herself the victim. She wants to understand you, not just be understood. This is what makes a relationship feel safe rather than unstable. A woman who communicates openly makes you feel secure, not anxious. She makes you feel heard, not ignored. She makes you feel valued, not just tolerated. A mature woman does not create barriers between you with unspoken expectations or assumed obligations. She believes that a strong relationship is built on transparency, where both partners feel comfortable discussing anything, whether it's personal struggles, aspirations, concerns, or fears. She doesn't wait for you to fail just to say, "I told you so." She encourages you, supports you, and communicates with the intention of resolving, not escalating. Many people enter relationships believing that withholding emotions makes them stronger, that playing hard to get creates attraction, or that making their partner jealous will make them appreciate them more. A woman with emotional maturity understands that none of these tactics lead to a healthy relationship. She sees through the games, and she chooses a higher standard. She doesn't need to manipulate a man to keep him interested. She doesn't rely on making him insecure to feel valued. Instead, she invests in honest conversations that build trust and deepen the emotional bond. When she says she will do something, she follows through. If she makes a commitment, she honors it. And if something is bothering her, she doesn't bury it under layers of passive aggressiveness, she addresses it directly. She knows that the strongest relationships are built on mutual respect, and respect starts with honesty. In contrast, an immature woman may struggle with communication. She might expect you to just know when something is wrong. She might drop hints and expect you to interpret them correctly. She may even test your patience by creating unnecessary drama just to see how you react. This is not love, this is manipulation. And a man who values his own peace of mind will recognize the difference. Imagine a relationship where you never have to wonder what's going on in your partner's mind. Imagine never having to guess if she's upset, if she's testing you, or if she's waiting for you to decode some cryptic behavior. Imagine a relationship where you can trust that what she says is what she means. That's what it's like to be with a woman who values honest communication. She does not use guilt to control you. She does not keep score, bringing up past mistakes every time there's a disagreement. She does not twist your words or use your vulnerabilities against you. Instead, she creates a space where you can be yourself, where you can speak freely without fear of judgment, and where you can grow together as partners, not as adversaries. If she has an issue with something you've done, she doesn't let it simmer beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to weaponize it. She addresses it head-on, calmly and maturely. She doesn't yell, slam doors, or storm out to make a dramatic point. She talks. She explains. She listens. She seeks resolution, not victory. This kind of communication is rare, but it is essential. It creates a relationship where both partners feel safe, where misunderstandings are minimized, and where love is nurtured rather than tested. A woman who communicates openly builds a relationship based on trust and stability. She doesn't leave you wondering where you stand or constantly working to prove yourself worthy. She makes you feel secure, valued, and understood. And when she loves you, you will know it, not just because she pells you, but because she shows you every single day through her actions, her words, and her unwavering commitment to honesty. In a world full of manipulation and mind games, a woman like this is truly a rare find. If you are lucky enough to meet her, cherish her. Never let her go. Chapter 4. She speaks positively about others. A woman's words reveal far more about her than she realizes. What she says about others, how she speaks about people when they're not around, and the energy behind her words, these are direct reflections of her character. If she constantly speaks negatively, if she is quick to criticize, gossip, or tear people down, that negativity will not stay confined to those conversations. Eventually, it will be directed at you. A woman who thrives on gossip and criticism is not simply expressing an opinion, she is exposing her own insecurities. Women who feel unfulfilled, inadequate, or envious often resort to belittling others to make themselves feel superior. They seek validation by making sure others seem smaller in comparison. You will notice this in the way she talks about her friends, her co-workers, even strangers she barely knows. If she is always searching for flaws, focusing on people's failures rather than their strengths, that mindset is embedded in her personality. But a woman with true confidence and self-worth does not need to put others down to feel better about herself. She uplifts. She encourages. She speaks with kindness, not because she is naive, but because she understands something fundamental. Negativity is a reflection of the speaker, not the subject. A strong, self-assured woman does not waste her energy on unnecessary complaints or toxic conversations. Instead, she focuses on what is good, what is inspiring, and what is worth building upon. The way she talks about her past relationships is especially telling. Does she blame her exes for everything that went wrong? Does she paint herself as a helpless victim in every situation? If she has nothing but resentment toward the people she once loved, chances are she has not taken the time to reflect, grow, or acknowledge her own role in those relationships. This is a dangerous pattern because if she refuses to take responsibility for the past, she will bring that same destructive attitude into your future. Now, this doesn't mean a woman has to be relentlessly positive all the time. We all experience frustration. We all vent from time to time. The key difference is whether she gets trapped in a cycle of negativity or whether she chooses to approach life with a constructive, forward-thinking mindset. A woman who is constantly bitter, always finding faults in others, and always dwelling on what's wrong in the world will eventually create that same toxic atmosphere in your relationship. On the other hand, a woman who speaks with respect and optimism is someone who will bring light into your life. Pay attention to how she talks about her friends, her family, even complete strangers. Does she see the good in people? Does she assume the best before assuming the worst? Does she appreciate the efforts of others rather than constantly expecting more? A woman who speaks positively about others understands the power of words. She knows that the way she speaks shapes her reality. She sees no need to tear others down because she is already secure in who she is. This kind of woman attracts good people into her life, people who also think constructively, who support one another, who work towards solutions rather than dwell on problems. More importantly, a woman who speaks positively about others will speak positively about you. When you are not in the room, she will defend your name instead of betraying your trust. When challenges arise in your relationship, she will seek solutions rather than play the blame game. She will recognize your efforts, appreciate your strengths, and encourage you to become even better, not through criticism, but through genuine support and belief in your potential. And here's the ultimate truth: a woman who has a beautiful mind will always have a beautiful presence. Her positivity will radiate in everything she does. It will affect the way she carries herself, the way she interacts with the world, and the way she loves. If you find a woman like this, never let her go. Chapter 5. She has self-respect and focuses on personal development. A woman's relationship with herself determines how she will treat you. If she respects herself, she will respect you. If she values growth, she will encourage you to grow. This is one of the most crucial things to understand about relationships. When a woman prioritizes her own development, she doesn't just improve her own life, she enhances yours as well. So, ask yourself, how does she treat herself? Does she care for her body, her mind, and her emotions? Does she have goals, ambitions, and interests outside of just being in a relationship? Is she constantly improving, learning, and striving to become a better version of herself? These are the signs of a woman who possesses real self-respect. A woman who invests in herself will never settle for mediocrity, not in her life, not in her ambitions, and certainly not in her relationships. She will never allow herself to become stagnant, nor will she tolerate a partner who refuses to grow. She knows that complacency is the enemy of progress, and she expects the same mindset from the man she chooses to be with. Contrast this with a woman who lacks self-respect. She seeks validation from external sources, whether through attention from men, social media, or unhealthy habits. She might rely on you to complete her instead of working on herself. She might look to you to fix her problems, rather than taking responsibility for her own happiness. This kind of woman will drain you emotionally, demanding more and more without ever offering true value in return. But a woman who truly respects herself? She brings strength, stability, and value into your life. She doesn't need a relationship to define her, she chooses a relationship that aligns with her values and aspirations. She doesn't see a man as her savior, nor does she need constant reassurance that she is enough. She knows her worth, and because of that, she chooses her partner from a place of strength, not desperation. You can see this self-respect in the way she carries herself. She holds herself to high standards, not because she wants to impress others, but because she genuinely values her own dignity. She doesn't chase attention. She doesn't lower her standards to fit in. She doesn't compromise her values just to keep someone in her life. Instead, she radiates confidence in her actions, her words, and her choices. A woman with self-respect also prioritizes growth. She has a thirst for knowledge, whether through reading, learning new skills, or constantly expanding her perspective on life. She is curious, ambitious, and always looking for ways to improve. She doesn't waste time on meaningless distractions. She invests in things that make her a better person. She takes care of herself physically, mentally, and emotionally. She maintains her health, not for vanity, but because she understands the connection between self-care and self-respect. She challenges herself mentally, refusing to remain stagnant in her beliefs or knowledge. She regulates her emotions, understanding that emotional intelligence is just as important as any other aspect of personal development. And here's something critical: a woman who respects herself will never tolerate a weak relationship. If she chooses to be with you, it's because she sees you as a strong, worthy man. She doesn't settle for a partner who holds her back. She doesn't stay in toxic relationships out of fear of being alone. She doesn't engage in petty games or demand constant validation. She expects a relationship that adds value to her life, just as she adds value to yours. This means she will challenge you to be better. She won't allow you to stagnate, just as she doesn't allow herself to. She will push you to aim higher, to become stronger, to improve in every area of your life. But unlike a woman who nags or criticizes, she does this from a place of love and respect, not control. She wants to see you thrive, because a strong, self-respecting woman understands that the best relationships are built between two people who are growing together. If you find a woman like this, never take her for granted. She is rare. She is the kind of woman who won't waste time with weak men or meaningless relationships. She is looking for something real, something meaningful, something built on mutual respect and shared growth. And the moment you recognize her value, you'll realize a woman like this doesn't just make your life better, she makes you better. Chapter 6. She maintains healthy relationships. A person's ability to sustain long-term, meaningful relationships is one of the most telling signs of their emotional maturity. Relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or familial, require patience, understanding, and self-awareness. A woman who values, respects, and nurtures the relationships in her life is a woman who understands what it takes to build something strong and lasting. If a woman is constantly losing friends, always entangled in drama, or has a history of unstable relationships, this is a major red flag. Of course, no one is immune to conflicts or misunderstandings, but the difference lies in how they handle these situations. An emotionally immature woman will burn bridges without hesitation. She will blame others for every failed friendship, every estranged family relationship, and every broken connection in her past. She will never stop to consider that she might be the common denominator. If every friend she's had has somehow betrayed her, if every ex was toxic, if she's always caught up in some new fight or falling out, this is not just bad luck. This is a pattern. And if she has never taken the time to reflect on her role in these failed relationships, then she is bound to bring that same instability into her relationship with you. On the other hand, a woman who has healthy, long-standing relationships demonstrates a high level of emotional intelligence. She understands that relationships require effort, patience, and a willingness to compromise. She doesn't discard people the moment things get tough. She knows how to work through problems, communicate her feelings, and find solutions instead of running away or creating unnecessary conflict. Pay attention to how she treats the people in her life. Does she respect her parents? Does she speak well of her close friends? Does she make an effort to maintain meaningful connections? A woman who values her relationships and treats people with kindness is someone who will bring stability and harmony into your life, rather than chaos and uncertainty. It's also important to observe how she handles conflict. Every relationship will face challenges, whether it's a disagreement with a friend, a misunderstanding with family, or a tough period in a romantic relationship. A mature woman faces these challenges head-on. She doesn't resort to passive aggression, silent treatment, or emotional manipulation. She doesn't cut people off the moment things don't go her way. Instead, she talks things through, tries to understand different perspectives, and finds ways to resolve issues in a healthy, constructive manner. Contrast this with a woman who thrives on drama and instability. If she is always involved in conflicts, if she constantly gossips about her friends behind their backs, if she seems to have a new enemies every few months, this is a warning sign. Someone who cannot maintain long-term, meaningful relationships with others will not suddenly become emotionally mature in a romantic relationship. Eventually, that same toxicity will make its way into your connection with her. A woman who truly values the people in her life understands the importance of loyalty, trust, and emotional support. She is there for her friends when they need her. She celebrates their successes instead of feeling jealous. She checks in on her loved ones, makes an effort to stay connected, and appreciates the bond she has built. This is the kind of woman who will stand by your side, who won't run away at the first sign of hardship, and who knows how to build something that lasts. She also recognizes the importance of setting boundaries. Maintaining healthy relationships doesn't mean tolerating toxic behavior or keeping people around just for the sake of it. A strong woman knows when to walk away from relationships that are genuinely unhealthy. But the difference is she doesn't create unnecessary chaos. She handles situations with wisdom, maturity, and self-respect. A woman who is constantly hopping from one friend group to another, cutting people off over minor disagreements, or engaging in petty arguments is someone who hasn't learned how to sustain meaningful relationships. And that kind of instability will eventually affect you. But a woman who values her connections, treats others with kindness, and fosters healthy, drama-free relationships, she is a rare find. She understands how to communicate, how to support the people in her life, and how to navigate challenges with grace. And if you meet a woman like this, never take her for granted. She isn't just good to be around, she makes you better. She creates an environment of trust and support, and she knows how to build something truly meaningful. She is the type of woman who brings peace, not chaos. And that is the kind of person who makes a relationship last. Chapter 7 is she takes responsibility and apologizes when necessary. A relationship without accountability is a ticking time bomb. When one person refuses to take responsibility for their actions, conflict becomes a cycle of blame, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. But when a woman has the strength to own her mistakes, she creates the foundation for something real, something built on mutual respect, growth, and emotional maturity. A woman like this doesn't make excuses when she's wrong. She doesn't try to twist the story to make herself the victim. She doesn't shift blame onto you, her past, or external circumstances. Instead, she does something incredibly rare. She faces the truth. If she hurts you with her words or actions, she doesn't pretend it didn't happen. She doesn't gaslight you into thinking you're overreacting. She doesn't minimize your feelings to protect her ego. She acknowledges it. She looks you in the eye and says, "I see what I did, and I'm sorry." She understands that an apology isn't about words, it's about making a genuine effort to correct the behavior. In contrast, an emotionally immature woman will do everything she can to avoid responsibility. She will blame the situation, the stress, the way you've made her feel, or even accuse you of being too sensitive. If she lashes out, it's your fault for upsetting her. If she betrays your trust, she'll find a way to justify it. If she fails to keep her word, she'll have a long list of excuses. And the worst part? The longer you tolerate it, the more it becomes your reality. But a woman with emotional intelligence and self-awareness understands that taking responsibility doesn't make her weak, it makes her strong. It takes courage to admit when you're wrong. It takes character to own up to your shortcomings. And it takes real maturity to recognize that growth only happens when you face the truth about yourself. This is the type of woman who, when she sees a mistake, doesn't just acknowledge it, she actively works to change it. She doesn't just apologize and repeat the same behavior. She reflects, she learns, and she makes a conscious effort to do better. She understands that a true apology isn't just words, it's changed behavior. A woman like this doesn't just take responsibility in her relationship, she applies this mindset to all areas of her life. If she messes up at work, she doesn't blame her boss, she finds a solution. If she faces challenges, she doesn't play the victim, she takes action. She is the kind of person who grows from her failures rather than letting them define her. And when you're with a woman like this, you know that you're with someone who is always evolving, always improving, and always willing to hold herself to a higher standard. In a world full of people who avoid accountability, a woman like this is incredibly rare. Many people would rather defend their mistakes than learn from them. They would rather justify their bad behavior than fix it. They would rather shift the blame than look in the mirror. But a woman who can say, "I was wrong. I take responsibility. I will do better," is a woman who will always be capable of growth. And if you meet a woman like this, never take her for granted. She is the kind of person who will help you grow, support you in your lowest moments, and stand by your side through life's challenges. She won't run from problems, she will face them. She won't manipulate, she will communicate. And she won't avoid responsibility, she will own it. That's the kind of woman who builds strong, lasting relationships. That's the kind of woman worth keeping. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." The same applies to finding a great woman. Don't waste time with the wrong ones. Recognize the signs of a woman who will bring peace, strength, and growth into your life. If you found a woman who shows these 7 traits, never take her for granted. She is rare. She is valuable. And she deserves a man who sees her worth. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever met a woman like this? Or are you still searching? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, true strength comes from choosing the right people to walk through life with.